doing it. You supposed to be happy you sitting there with Kid L. Why you mad?
The Kid L podcast.
Yo, rocking and rolling. Drey Skonie is in the building. How you doing today, man?
How you feeling, bro?
Do you remember that I reviewed one of your songs like 2 years ago?
Two of them, yeah.
Yeah, 2 songs actually, as a matter of fact. And you and Nick Speed had this one song you sent in to me. It was ridiculous, just like phenomenal. I thought you were a megastar already. I'm like, what are megastars doing? Like checking out my music review page, and then I looked at you, and it's like you were still in the grind. You were still on the upcoming. It was insane to see, man. You go as far back to working with Stewie, which is crazy. You featured on a song with him a long ass time ago. When I had to do an interview with Stewie, I looked up his old music and I seen that you featured on one of his songs. It was like 2012 or 13 or something like that. Somewhere a long time ago. So you've been here for a while.
It's been a grind. Yeah, it's been a hustle.
Where are you from, man?
I'm from Detroit, West Side.
Talk about day zero, man. Day zero of Drey Skonie.
Day zero for real for me, like church boy. Grew up in the church. My dad's a pastor. My grandfather's a pastor. My grandfather just passed away last week, so
sorry,
you know, rest in peace.
Sorry for your loss, bro.
It's my grandfather, but that was like my dad too, for real. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah.
But you know, they raised me in the church. You know, I call it the 3 C's. You either raised in the church, the club, or the corner. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to Detroit, but I was raised in the church, a little bit of the streets, not for real. But like, you know, all my upbringing in music was, you know, basically honed and started in church, where I started making my first song, start playing the keyboard, playing the drums, trying out everything I wanted to do. My grandfather being a pastor, he ain't stopped me, you know what I'm saying? He just let me do everything I wanted to do. You know, he heard that I was good, he saw that I was good, and he just kept like pushing me toward it, you know what I'm saying? So it really started in church for me, like just figuring out that I love music, you know.
And when you're talking about, you know, this concept of the 3 C's, I'm assuming that your surroundings were kind of like that, and you were watching people close to you live those different lifestyles.
Exactly. Uncles, everybody you can imagine, from where we from. Just because you go to the church don't mean you escape the hood. You know what I'm saying? You still in the hood. You just making a choice to, you know, be different. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, that dynamic obviously, you know, is real because those type of people come to the church too. Those type of people come to get healing, come to get something, you know, so.
Yeah, it has to be a mixture of everybody at the end of the day, because even the people that aren't just totally taking the path of church need it when they need it, right?
They need it when they need it. Even if it ain't, I mean, everybody ain't coming to church to find God. You know, to be honest with you, some people come to church just to get help. You know what I'm saying? And that's what the church is there for real. So, you know, I seen all of that. Our church got robbed when I was a kid. They stole the drums, the keyboard, and everything. My grandfather, God rest his soul, my grandfather let that, we felt like we knew who did it, but my grandfather let them people come back to church.
Wow.
No problems. Pray for them. You see what I'm saying? So,
man,
yeah,
jacking a church is
crazy, right?
Yeah.
And the only reason I was going to church as a kid was to do music. So you come to church and your keyboard is gone, drums gone. You like, it's like the worst thing in the world. So I never forget it.
Yeah. So even though you tried to create that separation still came inside, and taught its own lessons in its own ways, right?
Yeah.
So as you're growing up and, you know, you're watching your surroundings move the way it's moving, what's your mind state coming up as a child and to the point where you're entering the music scene? Like, how are you looking at life? Because you could take so many different routes. You can go to school, you can do all these different types of things. So what was like your mind state like growing up?
I don't know if I had too much direction. I just love music. In the beginning. And so with that being said, I just kept trying to do everything that I could to be good at music. Whether it was, you know, linking up with friends, cousins, learning little softwares and stuff. I had an uncle who taught me how to record. He recorded my first song when I was 12. So shout out to my Uncle York. But like he got me started in that realm. just knowing I can like making it something that's like touchable, you know what I'm saying? Like recording songs, hearing yourself back, you know, making beats, what it sound like, what it look like. He kind of introduced me to all of that. And I don't know, I was the one in the family like that just took the bull by the horns, like went crazy for real. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's when you listen to somebody like you, the way you put your music out, it's not of somebody that's not paying attention to the craft and that hasn't been experienced. You're super experienced in what you're doing,
Yeah.
but you've been talented at it for a long period of time.
Yeah.
When would you say your first real song was released, or when you really put an effort to put in a first single?
So my first big break for real, a lot of people might know this, a lot of people may know this, but my first big break was making a band. I did Making a Band, Diddy show. I had to go get the Cheesecake, and that kind of opened up the door for me, because at first I was just a kid in my room making music, and I didn't know what I was doing, or at least I thought I didn't know what I was doing. And so one day I auditioned. I was living in Chicago at the time. So one day I auditioned. Next thing you know, out of all the auditions, out of all the people that audition, however many people, I get picked. I make it to New York. Make it past the New York auditions. Now I make it to the house. And through that situation, just being like a kid from Detroit, church kid, whatever, not really saying stuff, you know, firsthand, that kind of made it real for me. Like, oh, I could do this. Like, oh, snap, it ain't that far away. You know what I'm saying? So, and then knowing that the caliber of people like would give me a chance or believe in me, it gave me the faith. You know what I'm saying?
Who do you communicate with when you're making the show, when you're making the band? Like how do you figure out you got it? Like how does the process work?
Well, obviously it's like a couple auditions, just like American Idol or something else. You get like 2 or 3 auditions, and so you get the callbacks. The callbacks was the first joint, and you come back and you do another audition, in a sense, like a step 2 of the audition. They take it up a notch, have you learn some dance steps or something like that. And then after that, once you make it through that, I think they let you know right then and there, like who's gonna make it to New York and who wasn't gonna make it. And so when you get to New York, it's kind of the same thing. You got to audition in front of Diddy now, at least during the time. And so, you know, we did that shit. And
so you got to audition in front of P. Diddy?
Yeah, P. Diddy, with Marvin Winans, Mario Winans.
What was the experience like? Was it pressure, or was it kind of just like, all right, just doing what I normally do?
It was, I ain't gonna front and act like it wasn't no pressure, but I'll be honest and say I wasn't about to let it ruin me in that moment, you know what I'm saying? You know, it was like, all right, time to do what I've been doing, you know? So
cool.
That's how I look at it in general, even now. Like, at some point, you always get a little nervous, you know what I'm saying? But
and now when you're saying that the actual airing of the show, what was your experience actually being on set? Like, what was the whole thing from the production to what people were seeing on TV?
For real, like, I feel like for me, the experience was like, you know, I had to get used to the cameras and like, you know, people watching me all of a sudden. That was different. You know, being in New York, you know what I'm saying, was different. I don't know, just the constant, like, you somebody now, you know what I'm saying? That was just, I went from being nobody to being somebody. And so it was kind of cool in that aspect. I think on a TV side, like, I think a lot of stuff was done for TV. I'll be honest with you, it's TV.
Just to make things more dramatic?
Just to make more things dramatic, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if y'all remember that little famous little clip where it's the 2 R&B sets, like the dudes going, you know, they singing against each other, Diddy sitting in the middle. I'm in that. So in that moment, you could tell, like, he was just trying to throw us off our square, you know what I'm saying? And like, don't get too comfortable, you know what I'm saying? Just be prepared for anything. And, you know, that's TV too. You know, it made good TV. People wanted to see, they want to see people get kicked out. They want to see people get booted. So people like drama. So
like the real the real purpose of the show is just to create a real life drama series.
Yeah, and it's obviously you got people that really care about this shit, right? So like for me, I had like a crazy exit. I was kind of pissed because I felt like I quit my job. I just had a kid at the time. Like I did all this stuff, the sacrifice coming out here, and y'all gonna play with my life like that?
How'd they play with your life?
I feel like, they was just trying to make TV. It wasn't about the talent. You know what I'm saying? Like, but,
What was your exit from the show?
Well, like, I basically got cut on that same episode where, they had the groups going against each other, right?
Yeah.
And it was basically made on TV like I was competing with one of the guys or whatever. We wasn't competing. But it was made on TV like we was competing against each other and all this extra shit. But it was, like I said, it was TV. And so the way they made it look, to me, I felt like it wasn't real. And considering how they cut me, and I've been giving my all, putting my all into this, you know what I'm saying? Quit my job, like I said, left my kid. And all that stuff, you know what I'm saying? I felt like y'all was playing with me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
So you're used just for entertainment purposes.
Yeah.
And they kind of had you believing there was going to be something more to it. So people really alter their lives to be on the show, and then they kind of can cut you out.
Yeah, they can do what they want to do.
Did they pay you? Did they pay you?
Yeah, you got paid.
So you got compensated enough for it to be worth it?
Yeah, you got like honestly, it's like a job.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So.
And what was the story about the cheesecake that you're talking about? Was that with you?
Like, how you got to go, how Diddy used to make everybody go get cheesecake and shit?
I seen it on Chappelle, but I didn't know it was a real thing.
Yeah, that's a real thing. Had to go get cheesecake, yeah. Had to go through all 5 boroughs in New York, performing for 2 hours each. And then we had to go get cheesecake. His analogy for it was, what would you do for the cake? What would you do how far would you go? How hard would you go? And we raised money for like the homeless and shit.
Wow.
But I wasn't too mad about that. I thought it was a good lesson, but everybody got the way they feel about Diddy right now. We ain't gotta get into all of that. But,
No, for sure. I'm not getting into the Diddy thing. I'm more just talking about the fact that P. Diddy literally made you specifically go get him cheesecake is the craziest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Well, he made for instance, like when he had the contestants on the show, he did the same thing with like the rap group. He did the same thing with Danny DeCane. Did the same thing with the people that was on the Day 26 group.
Did you use your own money to get the cheesecake, or
hell no?
Oh, they give you the money to go buy a cheesecake
they give you
for
the
him?
money. Yeah, it's for TV, so what I'm saying. Like you ain't got to use your money and shit. But
so is that Chappelle skit like real? Like when Chappelle was making him go get sugar cookies?
I mean, obviously it's like exaggerated to be funny.
But that's what they did. He was like, go give me a sugar cookie.
Yeah, like go to Junior's and give me some cheesecake. Yeah, like for real. So it was a thing.
After you unfortunately lose your position at the show, what's like your next move after that? Because it must have been a little bit of a blow in the stomach, but
honestly, it was a blessing in disguise. I didn't know at the time, but like obviously I'm the kid now that like I just got all this stuff happen for me. I go from being a nobody to being on TV and getting chased out the malls, all this crazy shit happening. So I'm like, let me just take this serious. Let me go somewhere I can make my dream happen. So I moved to Atlanta. Fast forward, I ended up meeting the dude that discovered Usher, AJ Alexander.
Mm-hmm.
Usher was just talking about him, but he had like this little boot camp that he would do where he would take in artists and he would put them through this program or this rigorous singing shit. And basically train you to be a singer. I thought I was good until I got with these guys, and like even.
What year was that?
I want to say that was probably like 07, 08, 09.
Okay, and so these guys are of a different caliber that you haven't seen.
Yeah, there was actual industry. You know what I'm saying? I was actually working with, because it was at this point we was the dude who discovered Usher and it was taking us in the group I was in at the time. Called Quiet Storm. He ended up taking us to Usher's mom. We got signed.
Wow.
Yeah, so we got signed to Usher's mom's indie label. And we did a little bit, you know what I'm saying? We didn't do what we wanted to do, but we did a little bit. We traveled on our own dime, going city to city, 120 cities on our own, singing and in parking lots and on beaches and making money, raising money just to go from city to city. We performed at schools. We performed at anything we can get our hands on. and we made a lot of noise. We probably sold about, I will say, at least 20,000 CDs out of our hand.
Legendary.
Yeah.
What was performing like for you guys at that time? Were you guys able to book out the venue and stuff?
At times we were, because like we was just boy bands and shit was kind of, you know, it was kind of a thing at the time. So we was able to get some attention from it. We wasn't bad looking guys neither, so we was able to get some attention, you know what I'm saying?
Has your attire been the same throughout the entire thing?
No.
What was your first set of attire like when you were breaking into artistry?
So, good question, because a lot of people be asking me, like, why you change, like, what made you change your style and all this shit? So, go back to the whole church boy thing. I'm really from the church. So, I seen this my whole life. I'm from Detroit. I seen this my whole life. So, it was already something I was associated with, but trying to be an R&B singer and trying to do what I thought I needed to do to get in the industry and all that stuff. Because that's the thing. People might act like it's not, but when you first get in, you be trying to do everything that you think you're supposed to do to make it, instead of finding yourself for real. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people lose their way like that. A lot of people sell their soul like that because they doing shit that they think they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
It's been a little harder for me because I ain't sold my soul yet. And I ain't gonna sell my soul, so I ain't gonna put the yet on it, but I ain't sold my soul, so,
Man.
you know, that's why it's hard for me. But like, doing the whole making the band thing, you know, traveling to Atlanta, all that stuff, you get, you know, I was consumed in the R&B world, being in a boy band and just trying to figure that out. I went through a whole lot of phases, you know, just trying to figure it out. I don't really know what my style really ever was. I just always was fly, you know what I'm saying? I'll be honest with you. It was more so kind of like the young, whatever the young guys was doing at the time. I even kind of went into like a little Jodeci phase too before I got here. I felt like it was close to what I was already doing. So, you know, once I got into the Jodeci thing, I was thinking like, you know, I started getting more into the themes and like just thinking about like where I really want to take my artistry and my sound and all that shit. And so being from Detroit and, you know, honestly, a lot of people was doing the Jodeci shit. A lot of people was doing similar vibes, so I wanted to separate myself. And me being from Detroit, I was like, everybody say they from Detroit, everybody say they doing Motown, but nobody doing it. You know what I'm saying? So like, I'm about to fucking do it for real.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody say they Motown, but nobody doing it. I was like, my boy Trey, his mom used to do my hair when I first started getting it. And I was like, man, I need somebody to do finger waves. She's like, yeah, my mama do that shit. So I literally went to her basement probably like 2 weeks later and got some finger waves and just been figuring it out from there. Like, you know, Motown, obviously, being from Detroit, you hear it every day. You know what I'm saying? You know what it is. We seen the pimps at the gas station. You know what I'm saying? We seen the pastors driving the Cadillac. So it's like basically what I know. So I felt like, why not just do something I'm more familiar with instead of trying to be like everybody else?
Yeah, and you know, that's an excellent point. People losing their ways by just settling with what the opportunity is that presents itself. Like, you get, even if you look back in time and you go, well, making the band isn't really who I am, but that was just an opportunity that came up.
Real talk.
And it can change your trajectory in a way that you never know what would have happened if you didn't do that and just focused on what was your true passion.
Doing,
yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I went through that. Even the music reviews, the reason I stopped reviewing people's music is because I was like, dude, that's not who I am. Like, I'm not. It was something that I wanted to. When I really started doing music reviews, it wasn't about reviewing music. I just wanted to let artists know what they were doing wrong. I was like, you suck, man. Like, here's how you get better. And then there was people who were sweet that weren't getting acknowledged. So I was like, let's get these people who are sweet acknowledged. But then after a while, I started realizing, like, okay, now I'm in a whole different category. Now I'm just getting paid to promo. Like, my review was always honest. But then I was always like, bro, I don't want to be a promotion seller. Like, I'm not trying to sell promo. I don't want to be that no more.
I mean, because obviously everybody just want to get heard.
Yeah.
That's really what it be about. People don't be putting in the work to mean something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But that was I think that was even a distraction. And so with you, it's like, you luckily for you, you acknowledged it very quickly. Like, okay, I got to find who I am and get as close to who I am and promote that. Yeah. And you made another good point while you're saying it. Because you're not willing to sell your soul, it's a longer process.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you're not willing to sell out and do what's easy, which you could probably do those things. You could probably do what successful rappers or artists are doing right now and succeed.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. I worked with big producers, bro, like people that big names that everybody know, and they be trying to get me to rap. You know what I'm saying? And the way I sing, like I'm a soulful singer. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like they be trying to get me to do like hip hop shit, and it's not like I'm gonna get against it, but it's like they don't want. It's like everybody trying to make a TikTok song or something quick. You know, ain't nobody trying to make real music touch nobody's hearts no more. Ain't nobody trying to make girls feel some type of way no more in that area. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's missing. Like, why everything got to be so thugged out? Why everything got to be so hard all the time?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you ain't got to be super soft. You ain't got to be weak, but you ain't got to be hard all the time. And I just feel like, you know, with Detroit, that's one thing I feel like it's kind of like, I don't know, it's a little annoying sometimes. Because it feel like everybody just seem like they want the gangster shit. They don't want no love.
I really think that the underground artists or the artists that aren't singing street rap or anything like that just need to figure out how to get really popular and they'll be successful. R&B singers always had a problem with getting popular. That was the only problem. It's never like that people didn't want to hear them or whatever the case may be. It's just they didn't figure out a way for everybody to accept them. There's like a secret code, and if you really nail it, you get that exception. Like Brian Hamilton almost did it. Like Brian Hamilton was doing great. He was singing. He was getting features on major songs with T Grizzly and everything like that. But he just didn't figure out how to like really stamp that brand and make it like, okay, I'm that guy.
Well, I'm gonna tell you this too. This I think the difference between singers and rappers for sure. Because shout out to Brian Hamilton. That's a little bro. Like, he know the grind. We both done a lot of features. I got like 100 features out with Payroll, Obie Trice, you name it. I got features with everybody down in the city, and you know, I think that's dope because it helped me like get my name out there. But on the flip side, you know, when I see everybody growing, everybody moving in teams and stuff, it's like the singers get kind of forgotten about. You know what I'm saying? Only time they need us is when they need us on the hook. Outside of that, I feel like a lot of times the singers get forgotten about. It ain't like we asking for a handout because I think 100 features, I done paid my dues, you know what I'm saying, at this point. Same thing for people like B. Ryan, same thing for people like Nisha and Shay. We ain't asking for no handouts. You know, all these singers out here, the Keeleys, you name it, the Dre Butters, they all putting that work in. And I just feel like, you know, we definitely be trying to come together on some shit. Like, for instance, Nick Lavelle, shout out to Nick Lavelle. He put together a show. Yeah. We doing what's called the R&B All-Stars.
Yeah, R&B All-Stars is coming up pretty soon.
Yeah. And he got a lot of good people in there.
Oh, sorry, All-Stars R&B, my bad.
Yeah, so he got a lot of good people on that show. So I respect what he doing. And it's not like R&B don't get no love, because I get a lot of shows. Like, me and my band, me and the Klouds, we do a lot of shows. Like, we booked up every day this week, for real.
Legendary.
Yeah, so it's not like we don't get no love or we not making no money. It's just like the scenes that's progressing don't be always including us. You know what I'm saying? And so I got to shout out certain people like Sino, for instance. Shout out to Big Five. He always called me. Anytime he got something going on, he always called me. He always put me on. So it's, you know, like, we need more of that. And it's like, we out here doing the work, but it's different scenes, right? So if the hip hop scene is moving, and that's the door right now, you know what I'm saying? At least put us in the motherfucking entrance, you know what I'm saying? So,
well, yeah, I mean, I've been watching for a while, and I see people who have great voices that are, again, they're just trying to brand themselves and make themselves a stamp. Like, you got Motown Ty, right? He was on that run with the rappers and really pushing things. And, you know, even you have the female scene. Like, Linda Singer came on here, and she was talking about how a lot of the songs that they're on, they don't even get credited for.
Yeah, a lot of times they don't even put our name on a song. Or a lot of times the splits don't get done, and we ain't getting paid. Just keep it 100. Like, I feel like, you know, it's in good intent. A lot of times people just don't really know what they're doing on the business side, don't understand it. And I ain't gonna come at everybody for that. But, you know, I do think, you know, it's just, it gets swept under the rug, you know.
It does. It's just about getting as many clicks on your name as possible.
Exactly.
So, like, if you're a rapper and you have to add that fee. I remember I used to film. I'm not gonna say what it was specifically, but I used to film these certain events, and these people used to be like, "Yo, I'll pay you to make a video of me from that event and only me."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "You don't gotta pay me, but I'm just gonna, you just gotta tag me." And they're like, "No, I'll pay you, so I don't gotta tag you just because." And
That's
I'm like,
crazy.
And I used to think like, why? And then it all made sense. I was like, they don't want anybody to get away from their profile. They want everybody to stay on their page.
That's crazy though.
Because if it says like song with Eminem featuring Drey Skonie, then it's like, oh, who's Drey Skonie? And it's like you lose all that attention. You don't want to lose even an ounce of attention.
I mean, I seen that shit, but like, what's for you is for you. You ain't gotta hate on nobody to get your own shine. I don't know why we ain't figured that out by now. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's one thing even for me, I don't try to shit on nobody. I just do me. Everybody know that about me. I ain't really clicked up with nobody, but I'm cool with everybody, for real. And everybody know that about me. I do my own thing. I shop at the thrift store. I ain't trying to outshine you. I ain't trying to act like I got more money than you.
Man, your car matches you, which is insane.
Yeah.
When I went outside, I thought I was going to see, like, all right, I see he's about to probably pull up, like, a Durango or some shit. It's, like, literally an old school. What is that, like a Caddy or something?
Cadillac, yeah. 87 Cadillac.
Yeah.
Fleetwood Broham, baby.
It has dice in the
Got
review
to.
mirror.
You know what I'm saying? They call me Mr. Cadillac.
It's so. What era would you say that is like that kind of attire, that kind of vibe?
This is more 70s.
70s, right? I was about to
late 60s, early 70s.
I was about to say 70s, right?
Yeah, I like the fashion of the 70s, man. Like bell bottoms and boots and even these shoes. Like you don't find shit like this nowhere. Come on now.
Okay.
Who gonna wear this? Me.
Fire.
Somebody got to do it.
And you got the cane chilling.
You feel me? I call this one Candy. Candy cane. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man, that's sick as hell. It's like you really put it all together and it's believable too. It's like really you. It feels like you.
Nah, I mean it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's one thing I appreciate being from Detroit. Like a lot of people just didn't realize that I just came back home with it. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people just think, oh, he just trying to jump on a wave. No, I just came back home and like even the style of songs that I was singing, like the stuff that I really sound good in, like I got the song I got with Obie Trice. It's more so me singing like soulfully, like tell me what you want, you can have it, babe. You know what I'm saying? It's like a soul vibe, so it's different. So I be feeling like I felt like I needed to cling on to that. And so really, my decision to go here was, I felt like, it is represent Detroit. Even when I go to Cali, everywhere I go, they be like, man, where you from? Like Detroit, they be like, I knew it. Like I knew you was from. You look like a Detroit nigga. Like they always say it. So it's a different vibe for me. It's a different side of Detroit that I get to show.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. Me and Nick were just talking about that earlier, man. There's so many different areas. There's so many different sounds and things and venues of entertainment to check out. It's so cool. Yeah. It's so cool, but like again, like to say, bringing it to the forefront, really bring out what Motown was and bringing it back to the map. It's crazy that I was here and it's almost like it's forgotten to some degree. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's kind of why I took it on my shoulders like I did. The way I look at Motown, the way I appreciate it, Michael Jackson was like my first, musical, person that I looked up to. But just Motown in general, Berry Gordy, everything, the story, everything that goes on with that place. I just got awarded the Artist of the Year from Motown Museum, 2023. And, being kind of like being part of the family now, being over there and having a stamp of approval from them, for those type of people that's been around the legends, and they the ones confirming me. They're the ones telling me I'm doing the right stuff and like keep going. Not even just them, old ladies too. I got old ladies coming to my shows. The show you was at, it was like 2 70-year-old ladies came to the show.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
man.
I was kind of tripping out. Like, dang. Like, I couldn't believe it. You know what I'm saying?
Trying to figure out which one to take home. You're like, yeah, which one?
Your granddaughter? Yeah. You know how to cook.
Yeah, I mean, no, I'm in. It's a sound that is not here, like you're saying, and it's something that's much needed. And it's cool to hear you're working with artists like Obie Trice and everything like that, because those guys are still. I mean, they're mainstream artists at the same time. They're from this way and everything like that. They just figured out a sound that's more appreciated in different parts of the world than it is from the hometown itself. Just a little bit more, I'd say.
Yeah, and it's other people too, like from the city that really got behind me, like producer AK. I don't know if you know about him, but he did a lot of stuff like Blade and stuff like that. he an unknown, known. He should be known more. He don't get enough credit, but AK.
Say his name one more time.
Producer AK.
AK, yeah, of course.
AK,
yeah. People talk about AK.
Okay, yeah, they need to talk about him more.
Yeah.
AK he's like one of the godfathers, man. So, he's been a good mentor and coach for me as well. So, like,
I want to continue from that point of when you're rediscovering your artistry and everything like that, kind of where we left off after making what the band happens and everything like that, and you kind of figuring out where you're at and how you proceed forward from that time and era. Well,
from there, basically, I'll be real with you. I felt like I was everywhere but home. So eventually I just found my way back home. Miss my family and all that shit. So I found my way back home, and I just started working on the artistry. I went back to school. I got my degree in audio, so I got a bachelor's degree in audio.
Damn.
Yeah, just want to be good. I produce. I do a lot of shit. You know what I'm saying? I call myself Quincy Scones. Like, I do a lot of shit. So I produce for a lot of people out here. I produce some records out here a lot of people don't know about.
Which ones?
I got a song I did for Dej Loaf and I think Oberrollin. I forgot what it's called. Don't quote me. I got too many songs out here.
Was this an early Dej Loaf career?
Early days, yeah.
Cool.
I was early Dej Loaf. I was in Abby GM with all of them.
Sick.
That was one thing that happened in Detroit. I kind of got around that camp too, like early Mac and all them people kind of took me in. Did a lot of hooks for everybody, bro. Like, literally over 100 hooks. If you look it up, you type in just Drey Skonie, you see appeared on, it's going to be like 100 songs.
Wow.
And that's pretty much how I started getting my name out here, doing all those features, doing shows around the city. Being able to work with people like AJ Alexander, the dude who discovered Usher, having that, like, artist development, vocal training. I worked with this lady named Jan Smith, too. Jan Smith was like, she didn't train Usher, Beyonce, a whole bunch of people, you name it. Being able to have those type of people kind of put me at a one-up, I could say, when I came back home, because obviously majority of artists at home didn't have that training. So when it came to live performances, I always had an edge on my live performances, and I think it's got to that point now where people know to come to a Skonie in the Klouds show.
Did you mutually leave the label, or how did that work?
Well, yeah, basically, the group didn't work out. You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, you know how that shit go.
Yeah.
But because it didn't work, because it wasn't working out, and everything was going a little hard for us. The independent route, independent label route. We asked for a release. To be honest, we asked for a release because we didn't think anything was gonna happen.
Yeah.
We just thought we were just kind of
wasting time.
Yeah.
Damn, it sucked.
Yeah, and we got families and shit.
What year did you come back to Detroit?
I think that was 2000. I want to say 12.
So you're in the midst of Doughboys and Team Eastside, and they're still on their run.
Yeah, they're still on the run.
And this is just right before street rap really breaks out.
It's right before all that. So I'm still doing hooks for everybody too. Even amongst all of this, Payroll, everybody reaching out.
Did you get to work with anybody from the D12 group or anything like that?
Yeah, not D12, but Slum Village. I did songs with Elzai.
Sick.
I got two songs with Young RJ. I got a lot of songs out there. I even got to spend some time with Fiddler before he passed.
Wow, man. What was that experience like working with Amp?
Well, to be honest with you, it was a learning experience completely because I'll be honest with you, my AK is the one who was telling me about Amp, because I'll be 100 with you. I didn't know 100 about Amp like that. I heard the name, but I didn't really know 100 about him like that. And AK was telling me you need to link with Amp because of your style. This is who you need to kind of rub shoulders with. And so this is a producer named Flav I worked with too that knew Amp. So Flav kind of took me to meet Amp, and we hit it off right away. He started showing me little secrets and stuff and like shit that he do. Yeah, like just like how he work his machines and like stuff like that. He gave me some sessions like to work with, some beats to work with. He even taught me how to tune the piano. So like gave me clothes, the whole nine. Like he big brothered me for real, took me under his wing. I feel like he saw a little bit of himself in me. I ain't trying to take no credit for nothing, but I feel like he saw how much I cared about it. He saw my fashion sense. He just wanted to encourage it.
It's so interesting when he passed away, that it was sad to see the comments where half of the people were like, who? And then half the people like, you seriously don't know. Yeah. And it was crazy to see that. It was a Detroit blog that posted it. And there's so much confusion in the air.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like Ample's one of those, he wasn't trying to get no shine. He was just great. Yeah. He was a teacher. He put people before himself, like that's why the world know Jay Dilla, because he went out his way to get them on. Even Slum Village, he went out his way to help those guys, and like that's how he is. Even he was sick when he was, having me come over. He was I feel like he was opening his doors, going out his way just to show that he cared. You know what I'm saying? And that's his spirit for real. I don't think he really did it for fame, and it's a lot to learn. Being around people like that, because it changed your perspective. Like, all this is cool and all. Like, I get it. Like, I am flashy. I ain't gonna deny it. I do like being, fly. You know what I'm saying? But, that's just part of the energy. You know what I'm saying? I think comes along with what we do. So
yeah, that's there's electric nature to some people, and that's how they thrive. But there's some people that can just stay low in the cut. Yeah, and it's their own energy that everybody's energy is just different in how they proceed with it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
There's a lot of people who come on podcasts or interviews and they're like, "Man, I don't really like being in front of the camera. I just want to work, but you got to be in front of the camera.
You got to be in front of the camera." Actually, that's one of the hardest things I just broke into as well, like the whole acting thing, or even with the making a band. Like, it was one thing just being yourself and not have to work on no lines, but then like this new Jackie Wilson film, TV series that we working on, I had to learn lines, so that was tough.
What's this TV series?
His daughter, Brenda Wilson, is working on a TV series, and she's putting together, her story.
Cool.
Her dad, and it's coming along good. I get to play Jackie Wilson.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man.
So.
What's it going to be aired on?
Well, they're still working out all the details, so I can't tell.
Okay.
I can't tell, but we are premiering part of the story on May 4th, I believe. Yeah, May 4th at the Bel Air.
Oh, cool, man. Yeah. Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, so if y'all want to come check it out, this is a full story. It's like from when he was a child to when he was an adult, and I played the adult version.
Can you walk us through the story a little bit more?
I can try to without telling y'all, everything, but like basically, like, it starts off as him being a kid, and kind of gives you an overview of what his life was and how it played out into him singing. And then the second part basically talks about his first days and into the singing realm and scene and how he got in there. And then, when I come in there, it's kind of, he's like the superstar already.
Wow, man.
So,
it's a big fucking role.
Yeah, it's pretty huge. I am thankful to the family, to Brenda Wilson. She saw me at a talent show that me and the Klouds won last year as well on 420. So it's been like a year.
And did you do any acting preparation before this role, or is it just like method acting?
To be honest with you, like, I just tried some shit and everybody like it, bro. I'm kind of surprised. The director's telling me, like, I did really good. Brenda told me I did really good, and I'm taking it in too. So this could be something big for me.
Wow.
Moolah, Sino put me in the movie.
Cool.
You know what I'm saying? I'm ready. You know what I'm saying?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
The awards you guys were talking about last year, you're talking about the Hitzville, or you're talking about the Covers Award?
The Covers.
Yeah, the Covers was sick, man. Yeah. You guys are the group itself is pretty awesome. I see a lot of your performance clips and everything like that.
Thank you.
It's like where else the fuck are you gonna see that? That's what, when I was watching it, I was like, where the fuck else are you gonna see this?
Detroit, you feel me?
Yeah.
And I feel like that's like, all right, you had George Clinton and the Funkadelics. You got all those people, right? That was then. Smokey Robinson and the Miracles. That was then. Who doing that now?
Man.
Somebody got to do it.
Facts, bro.
So.
Did you get to work with George Clinton yet?
No, I haven't.
I got to play with his play with his bass player one time. There was this place called the Phoenix Cafe.
Okay.
It's like in Hazel Park. And I'm a drummer, so me and my band were just...
Oh, for real?
Yeah, me and my band were just playing at this place. It's called the Phoenix Cafe. It used to be open all the time. I don't know what happened to it. But anyway, I was just playing my drums, and then this bass player comes and he starts going nuts. And I looked at him like, man, I'm like, who are you, bro? And he said his name, and I'm like, bro, what? And he's like, yeah, bro, I played with George Clinton, bro, D-Deep and everything like that. He was like,
That's dope.
I'm like, what's
I know one of his guys too, Paul Reiser. He be doing hair and shit. But
he does hair?
He does like this type of shit too.
Oh.
But like but he old school cat, so you know, he into all that funkadelic ass vibes, you know what I'm saying? He don't play with nobody.
I gotta get George Clinton on the podcast one day. That'd be a dream.
That would be fire.
You gotta work with him, because think about it. If you get the OG sound and then the new G sound, it's like, what else could you ask for?
I'm ready, George. Hit me. Come on, man.
I'm gonna tag George Clinton. I seen him do an interview recently, and it was whoever was interviewing him didn't know anything.
Boosie Collins too. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people I want to work with. I feel like, like I ain't trying to like act like I'm all of that, but I do got something. I got some soul to work with, so
Yeah, Boosie would be crazy as fuck.
Yeah, I think it'd go crazy for real. Detroit's still here in that realm. You know what I'm saying? Me and Klouds, we came here to show that. A lot of people be sleeping on Detroit for R&B and soul and all that stuff. They don't think to look to Detroit for that because of the hip hop that's flourishing right now. But it's still here. We still tearing up them stages. We still got a lot of festivals. It's still a whole scene out here. So
for sure, man, for sure.
Yeah.
Continuing from the point of you coming back, what was the pathway from that? When you come back to Detroit, you're missing your family and you kind of feel like out of place a little bit. What was the path from that point?
Really, it was just a lot of what I was just talking about, like doing shows, working with artists. And, that was kind of how I found my way for real, around the city, getting to know people, being outside,
What was the scene like as far as your genre is concerned? Was it hot or was it just straight up that?
Well, it was always, for me, I kind of made it through the hip hop scene. Like Shorty the Prince, I don't know if you remember when he was on the radio and stuff out here, but him and DJ BJ and Payron, they had a radio show at one point. And I had a song with Shorty the Prince, a few songs that was on the radio all the time. And, Shorty, he raps. So it kind of, like, once people start hearing me through that realm, hearing me through the Obie Trice realm, a lot of people just start reaching out to me from the hip-hop scene. I did a lot of work in that realm. So that's really how I got known. You know what I'm saying? I would say in Detroit. And outside of that, how I showed myself in the R&B realm was just my live performances. But it was still a lot of hip-hop shows that I would do, like, The Shelter, whatever. But, yeah, just doing a lot of shows, features, and, being outside.
And this is like, once you start talking about 2013, 14, 15, this is when Detroit music really takes a turn. This is when things are getting hot. Street rap is becoming very prevalent.
It's very prevalent.
It's less group related and more individual related. But then you got groups like Bang Gangs coming out.
It's less about getting signed.
Yeah,
it's
Star
about
Hearts coming out.
Yeah.
Jeezy's out here signing people, signing Doughboys and everything like that. So it's wild, right? People are excited, but the street rap is really taking over. That's when I don't really think R&B was relevant at that time.
It wasn't.
I mean, until this day, since that point.
To be honest with you, that's why I left Atlanta and came back to Detroit, because I was competing with that out there too. Like, Atlanta is just, they got their sound. They even got their R&B sound, but like Atlanta is like really like kind of got that super hip hop edge. You know what I'm saying? And if you ain't really on that, and then if you ain't from Atlanta too, it's kind of like you kind of gotta wait in this long ass line. So, I figured I need to come home and do what I need to do from home. You know what I'm saying? So, what
was the biggest points of success that you were finding for yourself when you did come back?
I mean, really, one of the big things was when I was in Atlanta is when I did the song with Obie Trice.
Yeah.
And his team flew me out to Cali. We shooting videos in Cali and shit. I'm coming back doing summer jams with Shorty the Prince. I'm doing all this shit outside of Atlanta. So it was like, maybe I don't need to be in Atlanta, maybe I need to come home and work on that. And I ain't against leaving. A lot of people say you have to leave, right? But I left early, and I just came back. But I learned when I left what I was up against. I learned the scene. I learned what I'm really doing, I could say. I don't think I know everything, but I learned a lot. So it's just about executing the plan now.
Right.
So
throughout that experience, did you dabble a lot in Detroit rap, or did you kind of? I know you have 100 features on it, but did you stick with did you try the street rap scene out a little bit?
I never rapped.
I mean, I'm saying, like, did you dabble with the features on that end?
I mean, yeah, I did a lot of features. Like, I was tied in with a lot of people, you know what I'm saying? Even to this day, like, I'm tied in, like, one time, Payroll said his mom called me Nate Dogg of Detroit.
Yeah, that's funny.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, I've done a lot of work with, certain people. So, it's just, I feel like I ain't gonna stop that. Like, I want to keep it. I want to make it more exclusive now. Because at first I was just working with everybody, but I want to make it more exclusive now. But I ain't gonna stop that because I feel like that's a part of me. It's part of my story. But
yeah,
I don't know. Like, I want to do more different stuff now.
Yeah, it's the way I look at it sometimes is like when you're super talented and you're doing everything the right way and it's not being received, it might be that you're promoting in the wrong places.
Wrong places, and to be honest with you, that's what I mean. Like, when you come to certain areas, you come to some demographics, they don't really know what's happening around the corner. You know what I'm saying? Because they on their block.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I got to do. I got to go around the corner. You know what I'm saying? I got to go to other blocks to get love. Basically.
Well, you've traveled a lot, right? So
yeah.
I'm sure you've been to areas where you've had to go to some type of show where you walked in and you're like, you guys are listening to this? Like,
yeah,
what?
I mean, but you can't hate at the same time.
Not hate, but almost just be like, that's crazy. Like,
yeah, it's crazy.
I can't believe you guys have a fan base. Like, just because of the fact that I don't listen to this person.
But that's when the politics come in, and we can't sit here and act like that ain't happening in the industry either. A lot of times people only putting their mans on. A lot of times it don't even have to do with talent. Or it had to do with payola. Somebody paid for the spot. And I don't do that. You know what I'm saying? I don't pay for spots. You know what I'm saying?
But think about this concept. The platforms that are available, right? Like, let's say you got Detroit Rap News and you got the Hip Hop Lab and you got Say Cheese, and you could pay yourself to promote yourself on that. I mean, which there's nothing wrong
marketing
with that.
Is different. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is, like, like when you, like, I'm not going to pay to open up for.
Well, that's a scam. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like, so it's, I'm talking about like certain things like that, or like be real. Like, I understand the DJs want to get something out of it, but like the whole point of us going to the DJs in the first place is because we ain't got it, because we trying to get out the hood. So if you treating everybody like they're a rapper, then how we ever gonna get to the point where we can help you? You know what I'm saying? That's the part that, I kind of get frustrated with. Like, I ain't saying that's every DJ, but it's a lot of DJs that don't want to help you because you can't put $100 in their pocket right then. Well, I still got to feed my daughter, bro, but I'm trying to make it. I'm trying to get to that point where I can do more than that. You know what I'm saying? You going to help me get there? Or you just going to shit on me and say I ain't nothing? You ain't even listening to my shit to see if I'm talented or not. And that's a lot that happens too. So I done had to work through all the red tape. I had to do a lot of shit. People want to play with your life, and try to shit on you because you ain't doing this, that, and the third to whatever I'm doing. If I do it my way, I do it my motherfucking way. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I want to do it this way, ain't nothing wrong with it. If I want to believe in my talent and go this direction, why I got to be shitting on? I ain't shitting on your way. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah. No, I totally agree with you. It's the unfortunate response to that is that it's just the reality of the game, right? Like, pay to play is a huge thing. Everybody pays to play until you get to a certain point where you're paid to play. That's a huge part of it. Like, to this day, even mainstream stars have to pay for certain things that nobody knows about. That.
But so crazy. I ain't gonna say all, but them same people that expect you to pay for a slot and all that shit, expect you to do a free feature.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like, when does it end? Niggas done paid their dues 1,000,000 times out here. And, it's like, I ain't got to kiss your ass to show that I fuck with you, bro. I fuck with you. But I ain't got to kiss your ass for you to feel like you got to support me. You know what I'm saying? That's the only way you're going to support me. If you think my talent is good, if you think the world should hear this shit, share my shit, support me. You know what I'm saying? Help me feed my family, bro. So I can look at you like that dude that I should look out for. I don't know that yet.
Yeah. It's a debatable topic only in the aspect that people who do succeed often times don't look back and help anybody that helped them get in
that's kind of like the catch-22 of the game, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's because everybody doing each other wrong, though.
Yep.
And everybody already know that. Like, that's why you think people ain't turning around and coming back, because they know if they didn't pay this DJ, they would never got spent in the first place.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Now, some people that don't do that is because they didn't have to pay that DJ, or they didn't have to pay that producer, or they didn't have to pay this person. These people, and you know, I get it. I'm at the point where I'm trying to get paid now too. So I ain't hating on people trying to get paid. But what I'm saying is like, make it real, make it fair.
You
know
have to invest. I mean, I talked about this one time, this clip that went kind of viral. I kind of had this concept of a 90-10 rule, where 90% of your career should be focused entirely on yourself, but then 10% of it should be contributed to your community and figuring out, how do I help this artist or this producer or this director? Even if it doesn't help me, how do I help you? Because when you do that, you're really just helping the infrastructure build and become more solid. If you only pay attention to yourself, that's good in its own right. I'm sure it can help lead on things from you know what you're doing, but at the same time, that little bit of support is a big deal, bro.
It is, and to be honest with you, I don't think I'd be out here in the city, Detroit, the way I am without these features. So collaborating, working with people is a big key to a lot of it. And I'm one of those people. I do my split sheets. I make sure everybody get paid. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just something I'm into. I want it to happen. I believe in good business. Yeah. And so a lot of people don't think I'm on that. A lot of people think I'm Hollywood because of how I carry myself, and I'm very stern on my beliefs, and I ain't fucking with anything. I ain't about to do a hook. I remember I had this dude send me, you know, it was a time where I would say I wouldn't charge as much if you write the song, whatever, right? So this dude sent me a hook, telling some smash and pass these hoes. Smash, I'm like, bro, I'm not fucking singing that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like you gotta set a standard at some point. Like, bro, like, come on now. Like, you using me for some bullshit. Like, come on now. Yeah. So, like,
they use you as misdirection because when people first start hearing your voice, they're like, oh, I'm about to hear some like cool ass melody song, some real shit, and then you start saying that shit. They're like, oh, this is hilarious.
Fuck is this? Yeah, like you know, like I believe in the message. You know what I'm saying? Like people like Tupac. I believe in the message. You know what I'm saying? You know, if you did all this shit and ain't touch somebody, ain't inspire somebody, ain't change somebody, you did it for nothing.
Yeah, intent, right? Like, what's the reason for what you're doing? Why are you doing what you're doing? So, and if it doesn't make any sense for why you're doing what you're doing, then that's kind of where, you know, you're letting your soul go on its own journey without controlling it, and it's sometimes you got to take control. I think they said that at the end of Breaking Bad. You ever watch that show?
I watch it.
You should watch it. That show's a transform. That's the only show that I've ever watched that transformed my life, or after I watched it. But towards the end, like, this girl basically has this argument. She's like, you know, she's like, I used to think I wanted my soul to just go wherever it belongs. But then she's like, but as I got older, I realized, like, I need to be in control of my soul. Like, instead of it just going wherever, people are like, oh, just end up wherever you're going to end up, man. Like, be free. It's like, nah, man, why don't you take control over where the fuck you want to be?
I'm doing that with my patience. Because I've been losing patience, you know what I'm saying, by dealing with too much stupid shit. But I was like, sometimes you gotta remember to be who you truly were, like your kind self. Like, don't change that. You know, again, like being around people like Fiddler and seeing how much he gave instead of took, it inspires me to be like that now. It inspires me no matter what. Like, I want to leave that behind. When people think of me, I want people to take that with them and do the same thing. Like, I want this to be the generational thing that we pass on, in a sense.
Yeah. So no, it's a great message. What have you been working on as of late, man?
Got the Jackie Wilson premiere coming up May 4th. The Bel Air. Got the R&B All-Star Show, Niggerville, and you know, a whole bunch of people. What's that? May 19th, I believe, at L Club. But all draft week, if y'all gonna be outside, man, we outside. Like I said, we had DTW Tuesday. We had Cliff Bells on Wednesday. We had Willis Show Bar on Thursday. We had Beacon Park on Friday. campus marches on Saturday. So it's gonna be a lit week. You already know it's about to be a 500,000 people here. So it's a lot of money in the city right now.
For sure.
Yeah.
Next month I'm doing this series where I'm getting groups on the couch, man. Mm-hmm. It would be an honor to have your band on the couch.
Man, they would love to be here, bro.
Yeah, we'll do
They're
that.
at rehearsal right now. They called a last minute rehearsal. I was like, man, I already scheduled the interview. I gotta go. But yeah, they would love that.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'll get you guys all on the couch at the same time so we can kind of develop that
dope.
story. I think it's important to break out these sounds, and especially the unity that you guys have, the continuity, the fact that you guys are out here, like you said, continuously booked, proves that the sound is wanted and needed, and people are responding to it. Yeah. So we'll set that up for next month. Appreciate you being on this, man. This is
I appreciate being on here, bro.
This is a really fun talk, man.
I want to say this too. I appreciate you bringing my name up.
Oh yeah.
You know, all the times you did, that's solid.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Some love on that.
Every time people talk about these sounds, I always bring you up, and I always bring up how, there's the underground is just not being heard, and it's not fair. And every time I think about that, you're like number one. You and Osaka the Renegade are two people where I'm always like,
Osaka dope too.
Yeah, I'm always like,
it's a lot of people, man.
Yeah, there's so many where I'm like, what the hell is happening? So,
and there's a lot of people that gave up. Sorry they gave up, but it's, it just sucks that it's just gatekeep the way it is. You know what I'm saying? In a sense,
Yeah.
Open that boy up.
That's the whole point, though. Right now, for all the underground artists, you guys, as unfair as it is, marketing is the number one tool because popularity is in demand right now. Popularity out trumps talent 10 billion% right now. So
it might get easier if they ban TikTok. We could just be the one fucking.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm on that boat too. I'm kind of hoping it. I kind of been hoping on that. I'm like, damn, I'll come to my Instagram.
Nah, they all come to Instagram. I ain't got to do TikTok video.
Yeah, fuck that. That shit ruined everything for me when I started seeing that TikTok shit, that Triller shit, and the TikTok shit. I was like, God damn it, what's wrong?
Dog.
Come on, man.
It's too much to keep up with.
It is too much to keep up with, but it made. You know what it did? You know what TikTok and Triller did and all that? It made artists that had real big goals complacent.
Play themselves.
Yeah, they were like, oh shit, I got this. This is enough for me. Instead of the big dreams I have, now I'm just gonna stick to this TikTok shit.
And they stuck to making songs for TikTok and performing them. These TikTok songs.
Exactly. Where they just repeat the same words over and over again.
Exactly.
You had this magnificent vision in your mind when you were young and you wanted to be in the entertainment industry, and then you found this easy way to monetize yourself, and then you gave up all those dreams to just monetize yourself. But now you're a slave to the platform.
See, that's what I don't want to become. Like, it's always a little give and take. You know what I'm saying? You can't think you're gonna just have your way all the time. It's a little give and take. But I can't give to the point where I'm a slave.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, absolutely not. We're slaves to the platforms right now. Instagram and TikTok literally have us by the fucking balls.
And that's why we not a cover band. Like, we sing classics is what we say. We not a cover band, but we do classics. But it's like, we not here to be background noise. You're not gonna be able to be in your seat when you hear us perform.
What's the most requested song that you guys do when you do those songs?
Honestly, I don't think nobody got a favorite song. So far, Motown, they like Better Days. I got an original song called Better Days. I get a lot of the ladies like this song called Love on Me. And we do a few renditions of like some old school songs like Papa Was Rolling Stone, the one you play.
Oh yeah.
And one of my favorite songs to do, old school songs to do is what is that song we've been doing? Crap, I can't think about it right now. I know one of them is Diamond in the Back. Curtis Mayfield, that's one of my favorite. Oh, Pusha Man. And Payback. We do the big Payback by James Brown sometimes. So
sick, man.
Some of my favorites, right?
I'm gonna pull up, man. I promise you on that. I'll pull up and check out what you guys going on, man.
We got some crazy sets that we've been working on for this week, so it's about to go up.
For sure.
Yeah. Appreciate
you being a part of this, man. Drey Skonie was in the building. We're at Payroll Sound Studio. High Low Visuals is shooting this productions. We're out. Peace.